Alright, all you listeners of the madness, welcome back to Under the Radar. And apparently, according to the scientists, they're wondering how in the world were we able to make an Iridian sword for this milestone show. And to answer your question, scientists over in the corner from the Wild World of Stunts, yeah, it's not me. I didn't make the sword. The maestro made that sword. Him and a blacksmith that he knew back in the day made a replica of a sword from the video game Drakengard 2. So yeah, that's how it's possible. And can he lift it? Well, apparently he can. So while he's lifting that sword up, folks, I think it's time for us to cut out some very interesting newspaper clippings with it as we get ready for a very special milestone edition of yesterday's news. And don't cut the desk with that sword, Maestro. Please don't cut the desk. It costs way too much money. And in our first yesterday's news story, and in sad news from the world of wrestling, Kamala, better known as James Harris, unfortunately died this week at the age of 70 years old. And for those who are wondering out there, he was the guy who always wore this weird-looking mask and wore face paint and always had his chest covered in paint. And to imitate The Rock when he was talking about Kamala, whenever he slapped his belly going, that always used to crack me up about The Rock, but either way, Kamala was a bad guy, and not to mention, highly afraid of caskets, especially during that casket match he had with The Undertaker way back when at the Survivor Series. And also featured in WCW, a part of the wonderful stable of just weird gimmicks known as the Dungeon of Doom. And I do believe that group was led by Sullivan. I never remembered what his first name was. All I know was he was always led with Sullivan, my son. And those were truly fun times in wrestling, especially with Kamala. And I also remember him going one-on-one against Umaga, which was another fun match to see him in as well. And we here at Under the Radar would like to say on behalf of Kamala, may your work live on forever, and may you forever rest in peace. And in other yesterday's news, and more or less video game yesterday's news, for you fans out there or prophets of the power game who always wanted to see Samoa Joe back on Up, Up, Down, Down, I have some good news for you. Because as of this past weekend, a part of the Superstar Save Point, we would see the man, the myth, the legend himself, Samoa Joe, talking about video games and playing a game called Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which for some strange reason reminds me of something that should have been a part of the Nick Arcade. And if they bring that show back since G4 TV's coming back, that's what needs to be on it. Yeah, really hoping for that. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out that episode with the master of the power game himself, you can head on over to the YouTube page of one man only known as Up, Up, Down, Down to check it out for yourself. And in other video game news, and in good news for you Animaniacs fans out there, after well over 22 years of its original run, it's been announced that as of November 20th, a part of Hulu, Animaniacs is coming back and better than ever. And to make things even better, folks, they will be coming back with the original actors and Steven Spielberg on the helm for this reboot of Animaniacs. And to make things even better than that, starting in 2021, there'll be an additional 13 episodes included with this said series. And also along with that, you will have episodes of Pinky and the Brain, Elmira and the Brain, and Tiny Toon Adventures along with it when it comes out in November. And I can only imagine what sort of lead-in they're gonna have for this after being off the air for well over 22 years. Maybe even longer than that, because I'm pretty sure the anniversary for Tiny Toon Adventures, which was almost 30 years at this point, is coming up in September too. But before we go into anniversary dates for cool cartoons from the past, folks, that wraps it up for another edition of Yesterday's News. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back to the music, and when we return, we'll be back with another edition of the Foursquare Delight right after this. So don't touch that dial just yet, folks, and stay tuned.